and welcome back to our YouTube channel. This week, I am speaking with Julie all about a controversial topic about stopping to walking your dogs. And it's something that we sometimes recommend in dog listening. And people can instantly think that doesn't sound right or have a lot of feelings around not walking their dog. So it's something we're going to explore a little bit further this week. So, we're going to be looking at, do dogs really need a walk every single day? We're going to be looking at what a dog actually, how a dog sees a walk from a dog's perspective. What is a walk? And we're going to be looking at how behaviours can sometimes become worse instead of better if we continue to walk our dogs. So this is never about not walking your dog ever. It's about listening to each individual dog in front of you, and that's why it's called dog listening. We are listening to each of our dogs, and there's not a standalone kind of approach really for every single dog. It really is about the dog in front of you. So first of all, we wanted to talk to you about what the human belief is around dog walking. Um, so, Julie, what from working with lots of clients in the past, how have you seen that clients see a dog walk?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think in our world, in we have been conditioned to believe that you get a dog actually to walk it. That is, it comes right back from then.
Mm.
You get a dog to walk it, and then when you have a dog, you are considered a good owner, the more you walk it,
Yeah,
often. And particularly, like sometimes people have a lot of thinking about regularly walking, so it needs to be once a day, twice a day, three times a day, depending on the dog's personality, the dog's breed.
yeah,
We're essentially told that the more we exercise the dog, the better behaved they will be.
yeah,
That seems to be the crux of the
yeah.
matter. And yeah, when we start working with clients, we need to kind of unpick that because
Mm.
that might be fine for some dogs, but obviously, if we're being called in, there's a very good chance that it's not fine. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we start to unpick that.
yeah. And I think there's this like real misconception around the fact that a tired dog is a good dog. Like if
Yeah.
you tire your dog out and they sleep, then therefore they're a good dog. And so sometimes we really have to rewind the thinking on that, don't we? And go, actually, it's about changing the dog's mindset, not tiring the dog out to the extent that they will sleep, but they're choosing to sleep because they're relaxed, they're calm, they're stress-free, rather than they're absolutely exhausted because they've been on 4 walks that day.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. There's a difference. And yes, you could say that at least when they're tired and they're sleeping, they're not barking at the birds going past the window.
Mm.
But as soon as they wake up, then that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I remember my first dog, Pepsi, we used to climb Monroe's at the time, and we
Mm.
would literally walk for maybe like 5, 6 hours, maybe even 7 hours on the hill with her, and she would do twice as much as us, running up and
Yeah.
back. And then we'd get to the pub afterwards, and we'd be sitting with our half pint of cider and our packet of crisps, and she would be sleeping under the seat in front of beside us. And then literally something would happen. And she wasn't really asleep. She was still on high alert
Mm.
because even after all that walking, she would be like, and she would jump up and start barking or,
Yeah.
displaying signs of distress, let's say.
Mm.
And so that was when I really truly understood, oh, okay, we're going to have to look for something else
Yeah.
other than just this exercise cures all behavior
Yeah.
theory that I had up until that point, to be perfectly honest.
And
Yeah.
I think as well, like owners feel a real sense of guilt and shame if they don't walk their dog. Like, oh, I haven't taken the dog out. Um, and it's this feeling because in our society we're seen as bad dog owners if we don't take our dog out every day, then we feel that sense of guilt and shame. And people then will continue to walk their dog, even when the dog is absolutely terrified to be going out, even when they're really reactive every time they go out the front door, they feel overwhelmed, they may be aggressive, they may be like hypersensitive to absolutely everything out there, but people will force their dog to walk because otherwise they might feel that sense of guilt. And I think what we do in dog listening is we try and take that guilt away from them and go, let's look at the dog in front of you. Let's look at what they need. What are they trying to tell you? And unpicking that and really learning about how to gradually build up that exposure to the outside world in a way that feels calm to the dog and to the owner. But we can't step back from that until we unpick that you don't need to take your dog out for a walk every day because otherwise you're just going to set yourself and the dog up to fail.
Yeah. And that's, I have to say, that's probably one of my favorite parts of working with clients is once we can get over that hurdle of, okay, the dog is not going to combust if we don't take it out for a walk, you
Mm,
know, every day for next week. We're going to take a few days off and we're going to actually really start to understand. Because, like you said, we want to take the guilt and the shame away from the owner. And the way to do that is through understanding the dog. It's not like, oh, Julie and Kate say it will be fine. Okay, well, then the guilt's gone. It
mm,
doesn't work like that. We need to understand what the dog is feeling when it's out on that walk. And we know that by the reactions and the reactivity, as you say, the aggression or
mm.
whatever's going on, the excessive barking. But then once we can jump that hurdle, then we can really start to go deep into what is going to be helpful for the owner and for the dog in that really lovely, nice, kind way.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just move on a little bit to how a dog actually sees a walk. Because, from a human's perspective, we will go out for a walk because we like the fresh air. We want to, get out, maybe socialize, view some nice greenery or scenery. But from a dog's perspective, how they view the walk is completely different, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like they see the world, they're going into the outside world and there are potential dangers out there. And so they are feeling like more vulnerable. They are going to feel more hyper vigilant towards things around them. And it's quite a serious business, isn't it? Going away from your den, which is your house, into the outside world. It's quite serious. And we just see it as a leisurely walk, but our dogs don't at all.
Oh, they don't. I mean, they see it as a hunt. They see it as a way of going to get food. Like, why would you leave the den if there's food in the den,
Mm,
aka our homes? Why would you leave the den and go into that potential danger? Because the home is safe, there's food there. So the only reason they would, of their own accord, leave the area, and you see this in free living dogs, the only reason they'll go away is to get food. It's
mm.
just that simple. And when we remember that our dogs are living in a world they don't understand, I mean, let's be honest, Kate, you and I are living in a world we don't understand half the time. So imagine what it's like for our dogs.
Yeah.
So, we're putting our dogs out into this world that they don't understand
Mm.
in a hyper-vigilant state. So that's what we want to change,
Yeah.
essentially.
And we're not saying that a dog can't experience a lovely, enjoyable walk because many dogs do every single day. I enjoy a walk with my dog every day, pretty much. I mean, there's obviously times where it's extremely hot or extremely cold or windy or rainy, and I will choose not to, or I'm not feeling up to it, or I can see he's not really up to it, and I'll choose not to go out, but I don't feel guilty about it. But those moments where we do go out, I know that he's calm, he's relaxed, he's stress-free, and I can see that because of the way he's walking. He's not like um, running around frantically. He's trotting beside me, sniffing, occasionally glancing back at me, eating some grass. just meandering with me. And if I stop, he stops. If I change direction, he follows me. It's really calm, lovely walk. And I don't know about you, Julie, but when I go out, I see these dogs with owners with a ball, but because they're trying to keep their dog near them. So they have this ball, and this dog is like, it's almost like someone's turned on a switch, and they are, uh, you know, they're just almost like, I don't know the word to say.
That like OCD, they go into like
Yeah, like
complete, yeah,
yeah, it's like
like
obsessive kind of like
obsessive, yeah.
behavior. Um, and they're just not relaxed, they're not calm. And or dogs that will run off, and go and explore the world with that, and just not be near the owner because they're going to go and explore the world because they're worried about what's out there. So they're going to go and find out, okay, is there any dangers? And so yeah, do you see that a lot with dogs out on walks with people?
Yeah, 100%. I think the important thing that we wanna help people with is the choice. So if your dogs are, you're about to take your dog out and you just like there's a choice there and you can think like I sometimes with my dog, well, dogs that I look after now, I'll kind of go to the door and take them. And sometimes they're just completely bouncing and jumping. And I'm like, do you know what? I've got things to do today while I'm out. So I'm going to leave the dog at home. That gives me a choice.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're giving our clients by recognizing that the dog walk is not a requirement every single day, then it starts to give us choice, which then makes us as humans feel much calmer and much more relaxed. And then when we do go out and about with our dogs, then we're it's just much calmer.
Mm.
And we don't need to get into the situations that you just described where that we often see. I live near a beach and yeah, there's some crazy goings on down there. I try not to look, but yeah, it doesn't need to be that way. I think that's really what we would love people to just start to get eyes for is
Mm.
that um, it doesn't need to be this. You must go out every day,
Yeah,
twice a day, three
definitely.
times in order to have a well-behaved dog. There are other ways.
And by us taking our dog out when they're not particularly ready to do so, or it's going to create stress for you and for the dog, what we're doing is we're actually reinforcing some of those behaviors that we're trying to resolve. So,
Yeah.
for example, if your dog is quite reactive to, I don't know, bikes, cars, people, other dogs, and
Yeah.
you feel like you've got to take your dog out into the world every single day, and you're coming into contact with those things every single day, we're just reinforcing it rather than, and it's this, we talk about this cycle, don't we? We're just getting into this cycle and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And we've got to stop that cycle. We've got to stop the walks. We've got to build up gradually and slowly, and stop that kind of increased adrenaline that a dog feels when they're going into the outside world and really just calm the whole thing down. And so, yeah, walking a dog when they're not ready can really, really reinforce the behaviors that actually we're trying to resolve and help our dog with. Um, so, yeah, people think that the answer is more exposure. I think sometimes, don't they? Expose them more to things, expose them to things that they're reactive to. But sometimes the dog actually, well, most of the time, the dog actually needs less. And we're always saying that, aren't we? Less is more. And you can't teach a dog calm unless we actually start really showing that from before you've even gone out the front door. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and it's about us feeling calm as well, which we talk about a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So dog listening, in terms of dog listening and dog walking. So instead of enforcing walks, this socialization that we think dogs need, exhausting the dog, pushing the dog into reactive situations. What we're doing is we're listening to the dog. We're looking at what the dog is ready for in that moment, rather than going, right, well, I need to do this because otherwise I'm a bad dog owner. And where can the dog succeed at this particular point? And that might look like going out the front door in a calm way. That's it. That might just
Yeah.
be it. Or it might even be a step before that, which is just getting the lead on in a calm way. And it might be that your dog's not even ready for that yet. But if we rush it, if we rush the process and we force our dogs into situations they're not ready for, you can see we're not listening to them. We're actually making the situation worse. So it's about dog listening, I feel, is about learning to really hear what your dog is trying to tell you and taking a step back and taking it slowly through those steps so that they can learn to trust you and have confidence in you. Is that kind of
Yeah.
aligned with what your thoughts are about that, Julie?
110%. Less is more. Take a break. It's not forever, because I think when we're trying to change conditioned beliefs that we've had for a long time, it's very difficult to go from, okay, I think that I need to walk my dog all the time, and if I don't, I'm going to feel bad,
Mm,
to, okay, well, you don't ever have to walk your dog again. That's a massive leap. Whereas if and this is kind of how we do it with our clients, isn't it? It's like, well, what about just take a break? Just take a break for a couple of days and see what happens.
mm.
And well, actually, I was going to say 9 times out of 10, it's not even, it's 99% of the time. People will come back to me and say, well, we haven't done anything, and the dog's much calmer. Literally in 2 or 3 days, with breaking that cycle that you were talking about, that loop of going out, getting scared, coming back,
Mm.
struggling to relax. It's like all of a sudden that bit's taken away. It's like the dog's body can physically, and it really doesn't take long
No.
it can physically just go, okay. And then once you've taken the break, then you can start to, like you say, get the lead out and just see where they're at. And it's just all about, yeah, trial and error and just going with the flow and communicating with them and understanding them. And then you get that beautiful harmony and connection with your dog, and the walks then become just much, much, much more fun. And you don't have to do anything about the crazy behaviors because they kind of dissolved all by themselves.
It's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of our clients that we work with and our students in the School for Professional Dog Listeners work with, the owners feel like they're giving up or they're not doing anything. And because we
Mm.
are, especially our Western world, is we feel like we've got to do all the time. When we stop doing, we feel like we're not doing anything and we're not actually helping our dog, but actually we're massively helping them. And it's actually by not doing anything, it's the first step towards the recovery of whatever undesirable behavior it is we're trying to help our clients with. And so it's changing their mindset on it. And I think for us dog listeners, we've got to give the owners permission that you're not a bad
Mhm.
dog owner if you don't walk your dog.
Yeah,
And we have to repeat it
100
over and over again, don't we?
over and over and over again. And I remember reading a book called Radical Rest, and it just speaks to what you were talking about there, Kate, about, this kind of do,
Mm.
and then when you stop, you almost feel anxious because you're not doing
Yeah.
something. But this is the humans. The dogs don't. They're fine. They're
Yeah.
totally fine with it.
Yeah.
But the humans are like, oh, wait a minute, I have to do something. And so, that's when we won't go into it today, but that's when we sort of talk about, starting the walk from just thinking about the walk
Mm.
and then going from there. And it's beautiful to watch the unfolding of, crazy walks to amazing,
Yeah.
calm, relaxed walks.
So yeah, before we end this, I just want to clarify that, and it's a massive misconception really in dog listening that we're not, and it's maybe a criticism of dog listening, that we're not advertising that dogs should never be walked. That's not what we're doing. And I think that's what a lot of people think, oh, they just tell people not to walk their dogs and try and, solve it that way. It's not, and it's not avoiding walks forever. Um, it's about the individual dog, learning about your dog. It's about their readiness, learning when they're ready. It's about learning to read yourself and when you're ready as well. And it's about building that confidence in yourself and your dog very gradually. So dog listening isn't about anti-walk. It's about pro listening to your dog. And that's the difference. And I think that's a massive misconception with dog listening. So I just wanted to clarify that and clear that up. So just to kind of round up this conversation, sometimes the kindest thing that we can do is stop asking a struggling dog to cope with more things that they can't handle. And actually, what I want to invite you to do is really reflect on today. Is your dog calm and relaxed on the walks? Are they truly enjoying the walks? Are you enjoying the walks? Are you feeling calm and relaxed? Or is it a daily struggle? Is it something that your dog is feeling stressed about? Is it something you're feeling stressed about? You're just enduring the walks. And whether you could actually just take a pause on those walks and just be curious and see what happens when you pause and stop and go, do you know what? Actually, today I don't feel like walking the dog, and the dog is clearly not ready for it. Let's just see what happens. And we'd really love to know if you do try this and what happens for you. Um, and obviously, we teach people how to build up those walks gradually with the steps that we teach inside our program. But the first step is to stop, just to stop, take a breath, calm everything down, and then build up slowly. So yeah, if this conversation really resonated with you, please put a comment below, especially if you've ever felt guilty about not walking your dog for whatever reason, or if you'd like to learn more about dog listening. Just pop a comment below and we'll get back to you. And just remember to subscribe to our channel if you're wanting to hear more about kind of honest conversations like this about dogs and how to learn more about your dogs, and if you're interested in becoming a dog listener yourself. So thank you so much, Julie, and we'll see you next time.